Jaya Ram, Jaya Ram, Jaya Gopi Jaya 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 Gopi Jaya Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Mani Subhadra. Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Mani Subhadra. Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Mani Subhadra. Jai Subhadra, Jagannath Swami, Jagannath Swami, Jagannath Swami, Jagannath Swami, Jagannath Swami, Jagannath Swami, Jagannath Subhadra, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Hare Krishna. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class by at Zoom platform at ISKCON Seshadripuram forum. So I have been instructed today to discuss on 18th shloka of 25th chapter of third canto. So shortly we'll start discussing this shloka. So we are in third canto, which is essentially the discussions between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. So we'll be continuing this shloka shortly. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yenam Tasmai Shri Guru Shri Chaitanya Manohobhishtam Thapitam Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Nadaki Supadmat Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Parakamalam Vividim Vaishnavacha Virupam Sagrajatam Tantam Prasiddhi Sadvaitam Sarvadhutam Parivam Suvitam Krishna Jaikantam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Purnurupasi Shakaitam हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु गोपिका कांत राधा कांत तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शुभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्ति हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 I'm projecting the shloka. So this is 18th shloka of 25th chapter of third canto. ज्ञान वैराग्य युक्तेन भक्ति युक्तेन चात्मना परिपश्यन्ति उदासीनं प्रकृतिं च हतौजसम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Word meaning by Srila Prabhupada, followed by translation. Jnana, knowledge. Vairagya, renunciation. Yuktena, equipped with bhakti, devotional service. Yuktena, equipped with cha, and atmana, by the mind. Paripashyati, one see. Upa, udasinam, indifferent. Prakrutim, material existence. Cha, and hata ojasam, reduced in strength. Translation by in that position of self-realization, by practice of knowledge and renunciation in devotional service, one sees everything in right perspective. He becomes indifferent to material existence, and the material influence acts less powerfully upon purport by Prabhupada. As the contamination of the germs of particular disease can influence a person, similarly, influence of material nature or illusory energy can act on the weaker or conditions, but not on the liberated. Self-realization is a position of liberated state. One understands his constitutional position by knowledge and vairagya, that is renunciation. Without knowledge, one cannot have realization. The realization that one is infinitesimal part and parcel of Supreme Spirit makes him unattached to material or conditional life. That is the beginning of devotional service. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, one cannot engage himself in devotional service of the Lord. In this verse, it is therefore stated, Jnana Vairagya when one is in full knowledge of one's constitutional position and is in the renounced order of life, detached from material attraction, then by pure devotional service, that is bhakti yuktena, he can engage himself as a loving servant of the Lord. Paripashyanti means that he can see everything in right perspective. Then the influence of material nature becomes almost nil. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. When one is self-realized, he becomes happy and free from influence of material nature, and at that time he is freed from lamentation and hatred. The Lord states that position as Mad Bhakti Lavate Param, the real state of beginning devotional service. Similarly, it is confirmed in Narada Pancharatra that when the senses are purified, then he be engaged in devotional service. One who is attached to the material contamination cannot be a devotee. Haribo. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapastaya Bhutale Srimade Jayapataka Swamimiti Namane Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Krupa Padayane Gaurapada Damadaya Guragrama Padine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapastaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamimiti Namane नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So ज्ञान वैराग्य युक्तेन भक्ति युक्तेन च आत्मना परिपश्यति उदासीनं प्रकृतिं च कौतिसम्. That is, in that position of self-realization, by practice of knowledge and renunciation in devotional service, one sees everything in the right perspective. He becomes indifferent to the material existence, and the material influence acts less powerfully upon him. Hare Krishna. Very, very important shloka, and this is Kapila Muni speaking, Lord Kapila speaking to his mother Devoti on request of his mother's devotee's request that he should enlighten her. Of course, she was knowing he is the supreme personality of Godhead because that was told by Brahma, Lord Brahma, and of course Kardama Muni also. And she was sort of not very happy with herself due to her thinking that she is too much attached to the material life, sense enjoyment, etc. Of course, she was not in real sense, but they are all devotees. But it's Lord's pastimes always, and he facilitates devotee also to play the role which represent us, and thus the common mass of people like us can be elevated. That's the whole thing. It's a because Lord Kapila is the incarnation, the author of the Lord himself, and he in his avatara explained the Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya is not artistic philosophy, which Prabhupada clarified many places. We generally perceive because that was given by some other phila. But it is a Sankhya philosophy which ultimately directs one to the devotions. So that is what Lord is speaking last some slokas, and he's telling like he's telling very elementary. Sankhya means elementary sort of. And at a very elementary level, I mean, it had just started some slokas back and it will go on for further sloka. But basically, Lord is telling how to really get liberated from this material world. What is the purpose of even liberation also, post-liberation also, it's a devotional service. And what is this material nature, Sankhya, the elements, so many things earlier also. But essentially, the shloka says, he is bringing, like he's telling, um, by the with the help of Gyan and Vairagya, one should attain the devotional service, or one should practice the bhakti so that he comes out of the okay. Because currently we are in disease condition. What is that disease? Bhavaroga. It's called Bhavaroga. Bhavaroga means basically it's a disease of the materialistic tendency or materialism. Bhava. Bhava means all this so-called material like Prakriti. That's all whole Maya. This is called Bhava. So we are in that disease condition. And what exactly is that? Basically, we are at the bodily platform. So our perception. So Prabhupada translates paripashyati as the perspective. So what perspective is being discussed in this sloka? What we are going to discuss. So this is the right perspective. Lord Kapila says this is the right perspective. What is the right perspective? We'll understand that. Prabhupada explains further. So basically, we are currently having this disease condition. Soul is not disease. Soul is never disease. It's body which is covering the soul, and the soul thinks his body, and in that illusory thinking, his thinking is disease. Soul, right? So, and why it is so? Because due to his own ego, due to its own ego, we feel that yes, I'm the Lord. I'm sense enjoyment. I'm so attached to the body, mind, body, and we tend to sort of enjoy this thing. Is this perspective we trying to enjoy? What perspective? Materialistic perspective. Materialistic perspective means we think we are body, senses, and mind, and we enjoy that. So pardon me. Okay, but Lord Kapila says in this shloka, he says in that position of self-realization means we have to become self-realized by practice of knowledge and renunciation in devotional service. One sees everything in right perspective. He becomes indifferent to material existence and material influence acts less powerful. Prabhupada gives example here. Like we catches infection, right? Bacterial viral infection. Why? Because our immunity is weak sometimes. We catches infection. So it's the immunity which decide whether you are going to have infection, not the infection outside, because infection is there in you. But we catch it because if we are our immunity is less, then we catch the infection. Similarly, in the bodily condition of life, we are already weak. That itself is a disease condition. That's already we are infected by materialistic tendencies of the life, and we tend to get infected more and more. Why? Because that's what our free will, we use our free will, misuse our free will to enjoy independent of Lord, and that makes us weak because it's Maya, and soul is not in any natural condition when we are in material condition, natural strength. What are our natural qualities of strength? Satchidananda. We are eternally knowledgeable. We are eternal as well as we are Ananda, like we are always eternally blissful. But we are thinking as a body, ourselves as a body, which is perishable, and hence we think we are perishable. Okay, so this is the condition of soul. So basically, this shloka says, Lord Kapila says, by Jnana and Vairagya, we should practice bhakti and then attain the lotus feet. So three important things are being discussed: Jnana, Vairagya, Bhakti. So let's see one by one. Jnana. So Prabhupada says, without a Jnana, we cannot be self-realized. It's so important. But here we should understand what you mean by Jnana. Knowledge, right? So knowledge means what? There are hundreds of faculties of knowledge, materialistic knowledge, in spiritual also there are various subsections of knowledge. Every knowledge may not going to make us self-realize. Correct? So that's why Prabhupada explains in the book. What type of knowledge is going to make you liberated, or rather self-realized? So the knowledge which talks about self, soul, identity of soul. Who are we? What is our duty? Why we are here? We are not this body, we are soul. Why we are suffering? Because we are thinking about them. Then who is Lord? Super soul. What is the relation between soul and super? Now, why I am suffering? How super soul? What is my duty towards super soul? Why I should be showing gratitude towards super soul? And what is my constitutional position as a soul? That is Satchitananda, servant of the Lord. Our constitutional nature is Satchitananda, but our constitutional position is serving the Lord. This is the knowledge. So we are, first of all, that is the knowledge. That is one thing. Secondly, we should understand our current position also. That is also knowledge. So important. Why we are in this position? Why we are in material world? What is the purpose of I being here? Or who put me here? What I should be doing next? What is the purpose of human life? Hundreds of questions. Although it looks very vast knowledge, but it's very simple that way. We are in material body due to our own wrong illusion, and we should ultimately go back to God as a servant of God. That's all. All the things comes in between. That's all matter of detailing. But simple, who am I? I am here, and what is my duty towards God? I should be serving. I should go there. This is the final thing. This is knowledge. Anything which supports this thing is the real knowledge. Means any knowledge which enhances our spiritual, enhances our uh, bhakti or love towards God is the real knowledge. Right? Anything which doesn't help you in doing this is not relevant knowledge. It's knowledge. Everything is knowledge. That way. Veda means knowledge, but not that everything you. Of course, Veda's purpose is to bring us to this platform, but not that every. If you go literally, all the things, karma kanda, jnana kanda, upasana kanda. If you go literally without understanding the objective of Veda, then we are going to get confused. It's very vast, and we are going to get confused. That's why there's a confusion. But anything which brings us to the platform of understanding the Lord, my relation to the Lord, that is the real knowledge. Then any knowledge which can be utilized for this purpose is the any knowledge which doesn't serve this purpose of real existence of human life is not a relevant knowledge. It might be knowledge. Knowledge is there. Physics, chemistry, it's a knowledge. But how physics, chemistry helps us in achieving Lord Bhakti is the question. Now it depends on us how to. That's why Lord Kapila says here, paripashyati means perspective. So right. Sanskrit has such a nice beauty. It gives the perspective. Paripashyati. Of course, we translate and see perspective. Yeah, perspective gives the meaning definitely. We use this perspective word very frequently, everywhere now and then. But then very paripashyati is very specific. So Lord Kapila is saying we should change our perspective. We should change our perspective of life. How? Jnana Vairagya Yuktena and achieve the bhakti. So even though we are coming across a lot of knowledge here in our day-to-day life, if we are utilizing that in ultimately self-realization, directly or indirectly, that's the real knowledge. But if we are not utilizing any knowledge to achieve this goal, then it's not enough. Okay. So what we should understand is basically, and of course, we should understand importance of it. Because unless we understand very basics at least. Prabhupada wrote commentaries on so many books. He wrote many books, hundreds of books, and he wrote commentaries, very authentic commentaries on the scripture. Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya. Why? That is the knowledge. He has given the knowledge. But he never encouraged the mental speculation platform. In fact, he was very, we are not Gyanis, so-called Gyanis. On one side, Prabhupada has given volumes of knowledge to us. One side, he has criticized and he has smashed the mental speculation methodology of knowledge. Why? Because the mental speculation way of achieving the knowledge, what I mean to say is knowledge achieved by method of mental speculation, that is descending process. Ascending process, so-called mental platform, doesn't necessarily take us to the Lord's lotus feet. Not, in fact, it may not, or mostly it will not. It's very exhaustive, and we may get misguided. Why? Because we are talking about, we are trying to leverage our mind, which is so flicker, mental speculation. Right? So knowledge is not going to, so-called knowledge, so-called approach of mental speculative knowledge will not going to help us. Even Shankaracharya also says, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. And then he further says that the grammatical jugglery of the word is not going to help you out. It's only Lord's name which is going to help us. Shankaracharya says this, who is a epitome of impersonalism, but then ultimately because he has his own purpose. So we have to understand, and of course our Vaishnava Acharyas has literally pushed this point that knowledge which takes us to the Lord's service is the knowledge. Other knowledge is not it's not relevant to us, right? So importance of knowledge, because without knowledge, if you don't understand who am I, why I am here, who is Lord, even doing devotional service also will be very difficult. So we should have this very basic knowledge, which is guided by Acharya, Prabhupada, and other Acharyas. That's very important. So once we understand this, yes, I am suffering, I am soul, which is Satchidananda. I have got eternal relation with God. And I need to go back to God. Simple. Anything other than this falls in between as a matter of detailing or the knowledge. And if we do it under the guidance of Guru, Shastra, Sadhu, then we are in right path. Right? So knowledge is important. But knowledge which directs us to the bhakti is important. And that is why we should take the right perspective. Many perspectives are discussed here. Prabhupada explains, elaborates more and more. So knowledge perspective is very important. We have to have knowledge, but we should not get lost into all that grammatical juggleries and other things and Karmakanda and Upasana. All are important, but ultimately one side thing is ultimately aim of the knowledge is to achieve the Lord's lotus feet. Now, as long as we are on this point as a perspective or as our intention or our consciousness, we are on right path. Then anything comes, we'll take it and utilize it. I'm talking about knowledge. So, a lot of our ISKCON devotees use science, profound material science, to explain the existence of Lord, to explain how bhakti is ultimate science. So that's real knowledge. Otherwise, if you don't use it for Lord's service and use it for some normal general material, then it becomes just simple dead science, material science. It's going to bind us. It's going to bind us. We use physics, chemistry, okay, to earn the livelihood. That's going to bind us. But if we are devotee, at least trying to be devotee slowly and utilizing this knowledge directly or indirectly, that's right. That's okay. But okay, of course, we should not get into too much into material sciences and try to explain Lord by that, because Acharya has given simple method, that is chanting and descending method, Shabda Praman, whatever Vedas says, accept it, Bhagavatam says accept it and focus on that. That's a very clear thing. And then continue our devotional service, sadhana. But anyway, the perspective here is knowledge is very important and it's a complementary to bhakti. Bhakti may not depend on your knowledge per se directly, because once you have bhakti, the desire to serve Lord, knowledge comes. Knowledge comes. Knowledge is imparted to you. Knowledge is always imparted to us. Knowledge, we cannot gain knowledge by our own effort. Knowledge comes by Shabdakam, in real knowledge. It is imparted to us by Lord's arrangement. It comes to us. But yes, we should try to understand this with the guidance of Guru Shastra Sadhu and continue our work. Then there is another thing which is getting discussed here, Lord Kapila Brahma, Vairagya. Now, Vairagya generally will tend to get misunderstood. So we'll discuss that Vairagya. Because why? Gyan is important. Gyan means about who am I, and we'll discuss that. So, putting ourselves in the right position, putting Lord's in the right position is a knowledge. Right. So once we have theoretical understanding, yes, we are here, Lord is there, this is all Maya, and what is our duty towards Lord. So that's a theoretical. That part is very important, because that is going to catalyze the work. The purpose of knowledge is to gain bhakti, not the otherwise. Okay. So it's not that I just continue gaining knowledge, but then I don't end up in bhakti, then that knowledge is not serving the purpose. Similarly, vairagya. Why vairagya? Vairagya means in the English we can simplify it to detachment. Detachment from what? It's very important. First of all, we cannot be detached by our consciousness. We have to attach to something, definitely, because we are Satchidanand. So we have to attach to something. But here, God is saying detachment. How? So we should, what is being referred here is, we should get detached from materialistic tendencies, sense enjoyment, which is our disease. So that is vairagya. Why it is important? Again, vairagya is a complementary, it's secondary to bhakti. We should like jnana. But it's very important because that's a disease. We are anyway disease with a material attachment. So any disease if you catch, we need to dissociate from that disease, the cause of that. For example, you catch the infection, then obviously you should be clean. Things should be sanitized. We should not invite more infection. It's a medicine, so we should take medicine, right? So, and not only medicine, but we should take the preventive action. So detachment is like the very cause of our bondage is the attachment to materialistic way of life. Okay, so we should get detached. Means what? Can we get detached from physically get detached from material life? No, because we are in this body. Till we leave the body, or even next birth also, we may have material body depending on our effort and how much we progress in that. Can we get detached physically? No. Then what? What exactly means then when it is said that detachment is important? It means basically we should change the consciousness. We should not be attached by consciousness to the materialist way of material body platform, bodily activities, bodily relation. We should withdraw ourselves mentally from this. Physically we may be there. So, like for example, there is a very important Bhakti Rasamrita. I'll read this sloka. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna mumukshubhe prati pratyago vairagyam phaltu pratyate. Vairagyam phaltu pratyate. Phaltu means useless. Pratyate means it is said. So if your vairagya is said phalgu, if vairagya will be said useless, if we don't use the things for the service of the Lord which can be utilized for service, and if you reject those things artificially, so those things, material thing I referred here, anything, not even material, anything which can be utilized for service of Lord, and we don't utilize it, but we reject them, saying that I should be detached from them. This sort of vairagya is phalgu vairagya. It's very important. This is a very big thing. So, very important. So, what the real definition of bhakti or real definition of vairagya is this: we should utilize everything in the service of Lord. We should remain attached to the Lord. We should not remain attached to the thing, but we should remain attached to the service of Lord. Attachment is unavoidable. It's a very artificial attempt which Mayavadis do, that we should remain attached, neti. We have to be attached because our constitutional nature is to attach. But to what we should be attached is what we should decide, and that's our perspective in Parikashyati is being discussed. So we should use the knowledge, we should use anything in this material world or anything which is available to us for the service of Lord, with the intention of serving the Lord, not with the intention of enjoying those things for personal. That is bhakti. Then be it simple physical thing, be it your knowledge, so-called material knowledge, you can utilize in the service of Lord by preaching, while preaching, understanding how material world works, how this material is beautifully designed. So when you see something very wonderful, even in material love, you can say, oh, it's a Lord's creation. How Lord would have created? That is a utilization not so, because they are changing your perspective. If you use your money, which you get, which is physically some paper or gold, utilize for Lord's service. That is also simple. You are enjoying. We are to satisfy our senses, eating, hearing, all those things. Material. Utilize for Lord's service. It prasad. Maintain your body. Maintain our desires. Quench your desires by so-called distance enjoyment to some extent in a limited way, so that we remain peaceful. We don't get disturbed by mind. Utilize that whole vitality of the mind or time saved by avoiding the disturbances for the loss. That is also utilization of body and mind for loss. We can realize. We do the service on physical level, mental level, intellectual level. You are utilizing in service of Lord. Means what? When you are utilizing anything in service of Lord with a knowledge of the fact that everything belongs to Lord. He is a proprietor, he is an enjoyer. He is a proprietor, he is an enjoyer of everything. I am only his servant. And I am only utilizing all these things for his service. And we take pleasure in doing so. Not for personal sensual pleasure. No, it's a soul pleasure. It's a pleasure at a soul's level. In this perspective, in this consciousness, if you work in the day-to-day life, we are at spiritual platform. And that is what Phalgu Vairagya will be avoided. Otherwise, if you try to artificially renounce the things, which otherwise can be utilized for lots of people. Yes, of course, it's important. I'm not like, yes, there are many Babas, yogis, they are artificially reject. It's not that they are doing anything wrong there, but it's not a perfect thing. Okay, it's not a perfect thing because, and in fact, it's dangerous or it is risky. I'll not call it dangerous. I'll call it risky. Why? Because we may artificially renounce something. Artificially means, oh no, nothing, no, this is not there, no, I'll go to, no, not this, I'll go to forest, reject the family, this, that. Okay. Problem is we are not changing our perspective. Okay, perspective is very simple word, but we are not changing our consciousness. The tendency to enjoy material life independently of the Lord is a disease. And that is there anyway in the form of false ego. Now, unless the way we burn that tendency, burn that subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego is all this combination of this tendency only. Just software getting build up, and so the whole thing is this only. I will enjoy the material life independent of Lord. It's like till that tendency is not removed, purified. Let's call it purification, purified. Any amount of tapasya, any amount of jnana, any amount of karma kanda, upasana kanda is going to backfire. This is again and again told in Bhagavad in all the devotees' pastimes and Lord. Everywhere, it's the same trend. Till we remove the seeds of material enjoyment, the weed is going to come out and is going to trouble us. Seed has to be removed. Seed of materialistic attachment has to be removed. Then once seed is removed, there is no question of further weed or grass or something which is unwanted. But If you cut the grass like that, again grass will come because seeds are there below the surface. So we have to understand this part, and that is a knowledge. This is all knowledge. Yes, what is this all happening around us? Why I'm having this? Why I'm not able to stop the sins? Why I'm not able to control the mind? Because we have got these weeds or sorry seeds, and those has to be removed. How it will be removed? That is by bhakti. Purification. It's a purification process. That is why exactly sadhana bhakti means. And of course, it's not. Of course, one thing is Gyan, Vairagya are like a complementary tools to achieve bhakti. Bhakti is not complementary to achieve something. Bhakti is a means also, bhakti is the end also. Once you achieve the lotus feet of Lord, that is bhakti. And to do that also, anyway, we start worshipping Lord. Is also bhakti. Even though it is in disease condition, the medicine also, and later on, once you recovered also, gets cured also, ultimate aim is bhakti. You have to continue doing chanting to remove the disease, and you have to continue doing chanting to release the disease, to release the bhakti. As simple as this is what exactly called transcendental, right? So bhakti is not a means or something. Bhakti is the end also and means. But Jnana Vairagya are complementary to it. Bhakti alone can lift you to the highest platform. Jnana Vairagya will come anyway. But if you with a proper guidance, with proper intention, use Jnana and Vairagya to develop Bhakti, that's a faster process. So they are important. No doubt they are. It's not that they are not important. They are important. But what is more important is Bhakti. So it's like a clear-cut cycle. You start little bit getting knowledge with some bhakti. Then once you get knowledge, you develop bhakti. Then you start developing attachment to Lord, all that devotees. Then you get vairagya little bit. Then you artificially, forcefully, or voluntarily develop vairagya. That's why four regulative principles. Then that's why we should read Prabhupada. Get a jnana, get a vairagya. Start putting effort to understand the vairagya, demonstrate vairagya. It's important. Otherwise, we can't say, oh, okay, I'm doing bhakti. I'll start, but I'll remain attached to everything. No problem. It will come. It doesn't happen that way. It will not happen. It will be a very slow process. So, bhakti has got potential to lift to at any time, irrespective of Jnana Vairagya. But Jnana Vairagya, if you execute it properly under the guidance, it will catalyze the whole thing. Things will be very fast. And that's very important because we don't know. Material life is very risky. Anytime we can fall down. So we can't take this. So that's why four regulative principle, detaching yourself from all those materials slowly under guidance is important. So we have to demonstrate our willingness also to serve Lord, right? So that is being tested. Okay, Lord is saying, fine, you leave these four things first for me. Non-veg eating, wine and all that, you leave this first for me. Then I'll see. So if you show that eagerness yes, I want to reject those things or at least minimize or make it almost zero, this thing. That gives that is our change of consciousness and Lord becomes happy. Oh, okay, this soul is trying to come to me and he's ready to renounce all those so-called material. He is renouncing his own desires, which is contaminated desires, and he's trying to get the real desire. Lord becomes happy and he gives you that power. We should not think that just by following four regular principle, I am getting the strength. I am following for nothing is by our potency. We saw Lord's potency works. But whatever has been given to us as a even sadhana bhakti, we may do some law for austerity. It is all Lord's powers only we get. Why we get that power? Because we demonstrate the tendency to serve Lord by trying to reject this thing. Means we try to say that yes, I am on the right path. I want to be on the right path. I want to reject this thing for you. Then Lord gives us strength. So strength comes from Lord. And it works. And it goes. It's so simple because Lord can do everything. Why not? We have to only have desire. So it's all just simple. We have to have desire to serve the Lord. Develop that desire. Initially, it is artificially desire. Artificially, may not be right, but it's not very natural to us. I'll not use the word artificial, but it's like it's not very natural to us. But we have to push ourselves. No, I want to serve. No. Then Lord gives us intelligence, Gyan, Lord gives us power, Lord gives us determination. Vairagya, it will come anyway, because you will be attached to something very higher taste of the Lord. Once you get higher taste, you are going to reject the Lord. What is so great in that? I mean, what is so creditable to soul? We should not think it's credit to me. Oh, look, I have rejected this material. There is no credit, because anyway you are attached to Lord. It's the Lord's mercy on us that He is allowing us. Okay, you come to me. Then anyway, lower things will go away. That is the mood of devotee. That is the mood of devotee. So humble. We should develop that mood. At least I'm not nowhere nearby to that, but at least we should understand. We taste it. As a devotee, we taste this. It's not new. It's not new to us. We taste little bit, but then we should keep building more and more taste for it. So Jnana Vairagya, so and then continue the devotional service with the guidance. And as we continue developing the bhakti, we get detached. By detachment, our hankering, lamentation will come down. Because all our hankering and lamentation is a whole material life is full of hankering and lamentation. And we are busy into that. And that keeps us, our mind completely distracted into all this. And we are not able to execute the bhakti because we are distracted by mind. So once you have knowledge, once you develop Vairagya, your disturbances from hankering and lamentation will reduce. You will not be lamenting for something if you lose. You will not hanker for something unnecessarily. To the extent fit to purpose, fit to body, maintenance of body will take slowly. And you will utilize, or even though you hanker, but you will hanker for Lord's service. The hankering gets converted to Lord's service. You may lament, but if you lose something in Lord's service, you may lament, oh, I'm not able to do this service. I want more. Like that, it gets purified. And in that process, we become peaceful. Why? Because that's our natural constitution. Once you understand Bhoktaram Yadgatapisam, Sarvaloka Maheshwara, Sarvadam Sarvabhutanam Shantim Prachitik. Means we'll become peaceful by knowing that Lord is the proprietor, creator, enjoyer of everything. Once the Jivatma understand this, they become naturally happy because that's his nature. You don't have to have separate effort for becoming happy or sorry, peaceful. You become peaceful just by taking yourself to a natural position, which is a service of God. Simple. And this we can practically explain when you work in day-to-day office or in day-to-day personal life. If you are detaching yourself from the results of that, fruits of the activity, but you are just focusing on the activity itself, doing the activity for perfectly for the Lord with the intention, yes, I'm doing this as a duty because ultimately I'm doing bhakti. The detachment comes and we don't get disturbed. This we have seen practically, all of us, to some extent or major extent, whatever it may be the case. But and then this is a way we should develop knowledge, and because it's not easy. It's not easy, but it is easy by the grace of the Lord as well as His devotee. Okay, so if you have this consciousness of serving the Lord, serving the devotees, and always think, okay, I have got so many defects, but with that humble attitude, yes, I have got so many defects, I am not able to do this, but please save me. That continuously we should keep praying to Lord. That is one thing during chanting is our mood, right? Please take me through that. That's our mood during chanting. Then we become Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Prabhupada refers in the Tattva. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma no sochati. Then once our distraction reduces, bhakti increases, devotion life increases, we get attached to Lord, and that's we are going back to God. Our journey starts. So this is the whole perspective Prabhupada has explained in this purport as well as his other many lectures also, which I referred. And he has put the things into right perspective. Lord Kapila has put the thing to right perspective. No way we can understand Lord Kapila directly. We have to understand Lord Kapila through Prabhupada only, and that's what we are doing. And he put right thing to right perspective. And now it is so easy to understand. Okay, so this is the overall discussion on this sloka, and I wanted to share with you. And I think I will stop here. I request Prabhuji to Vidura Prabhuji to give his comments, corrections further, and then we can get into question answers also if there is something. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Nice class. So, the point, as you very beautifully mentioned, knowledge and practice. Right? With knowledge, we try to understand this is what it is. Therefore, how do we implement that by practice? So the question is this. The practice aspect of it, right? You mentioned very nicely so many things like, okay, I will, I can't keep holding on to my attachment and at the same time trying to say I'm Krishna conscious. So all that is very nice. But how do we practicalize that in terms of our thing? That is something which we need to look at in a day-to-day life, right? Of course, you also very nicely mentioned Prabhupada, why has he given all these books? So that means, do we read? Do we read to first acquire the knowledge? So many times we see devotees, even after many years of practicing, they still get confused to see, why am I not happy? These kind of things keep coming in our mind. Why is it that we are put into troubles? I'm trying to do devotional service. Why are there problems? Many people ask, why, great devotees get into trouble. So that means we are not really understanding the whole concept. So that's why so many times we see Prabhupada keeps writing the same thing again and again in different ways. Some people even get, no, Prabhupada is writing the same thing. But we are not able to realize that we have not understood in spite of it. Right? Why is Prabhupada writing? We are saying, why is Prabhupada is writing the same thing? There is nothing. It's not like a novel for us to keep getting, different speculative joy in our head, right? It is for us to understand. So as long as we are not able to understand, we have to be told again and again and again. So that is very important. So it's not, again, if you read many verses, the concept will keep coming back. Like, many times when we give a class also, go back to, why are we here in this material world? What is the purpose and all that? Oh, yeah, I know. All of us, I'm not saying anybody here is thinking like that, but the point is the tendency, being a human being, all of us are thinking like that. Mostly, as long as the speaker is not realized, the speaker himself also, right? We are thinking like that. But the point is, how do we internalize that? That is the whole process of devotional service, right? The idea is not simply to do something mechanically. The idea is to see, therefore, I did my whatever. I followed 4 regulative principles today. I did read some Prabhupada books. Maybe I chanted my rounds. All this is there. So how does it translate into that detachment and attachment? Detachment from material things and attachment to spiritual, or in other words, attachment to Krishna, to be very precise. So are we able to look at everything as a dedication to the Supreme Personality of Godhead without feeling it is mine? Or that is the detachment, right? Without feeling mine, but doing everything with great sincerity, understanding that we are doing it as a service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the Supreme Personality of Godhead's service. It is his job that is getting executed through me. If you are able to practice that side by side of always trying to understand why am I suffering, what is happening, why I am not able to get this, why I am not able to get that, why I am not being happy, why is these people actually troubling me? All these questions are always there. But trying to find the answer through the knowledge is one thing, but beyond that, how do I practice this detachment and attachment? So that Prabhupada is very practical in making all of us get to that platform, and Prabhupada's disciples also, they are trying to engage us in different ways. So if we simply follow, right, and not keep this as okay, Sundays I will do some service or I will go to the temple and maybe the 4 regulative principles and the chanting, all regulation, that is okay. But beyond that, how do I accelerate my progress? How do I commit myself to do more service? That's why I never say no, do bhakti. Bhakti means what? We don't know. Is it standing in front of the Lord or offering some upacharas or so it's about physically. That's why Prabhupada always translates as devotional service, not simply devotion. We say devotion, what is it? Nobody understands what is devotion. Unless when you say service, it is acting on it, doing a service to someone, right? So that mode, if you are able to implement in our day-to-day activity, then I think we will be able to have that realization which Prabhupada is talking about. Few thoughts from my side. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thanks, Prabhuji. Clarifying clearly. Thanks, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments from the devotees? We can discuss.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
I think concept is very clear, Prabhu. Class is very good. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare.
Yes. Hare Krishna. One more point, Prabhu, I want to add it here. Like recently, I've seen somewhere in the Prabhupada book, like sense gratification means we thought like lack of Krishna consciousness is also sense gratification. That's what somewhere it mentioned. So I want to emphasize other point here. Like usually what we'll think is if you say you are enjoying through senses, we will think is a sense gratification. But if you are not following any Krishna conscious principles, that also sense gratification. That's what recently I am coming to know. So I think that point it's correlating with the lecture properly. Yes.
Yeah, correct, Prabhu. Correct. It's the same thing. Same in the sense. If there is no Krishna consciousness, sense enjoyment. If there is a sense enjoyment, and then without Krishna consciousness, anyway it's a sense enjoyment. Yeah.
Correct.
Both
yes.
Two separate.
Yes.
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 Hare Krishna. So, if there are no questions, comments further, we'll stop here. Thanks for sparing your time in the morning, and we'll continue the discussions. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
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 Hare Krishna.